那接下来给大家就介绍一下以人类学的这位 Alan Macfarlane 这位大师是怎样去安排他的写作的。这一位呢可以说是非常高产的一位学术大师，他是剑桥大学的教授，他是历史学、人类学的双博士啊。这位大师呢，他先读了一个历史学的一个博士，然后又觉得不够过瘾，又去读了一个人类学的博士。后来他又对经济学感兴趣，他又读了一个经济学的硕士。他后来就是跨学科的教这些不同的学科。他每年呢都会出1-2本书，同时呢有很多的 journal articles 发表。当然这样的人呢也不是只有他一个，但是我觉得他是很用心的在做一个学术的内容。我觉得可以大家向他学习一下，他是如何完成写作内容的。那首先呢，他提出的一点呢，是你所有的那个思路不求完美，要尽快开始写作。所以我们请大家看看这位学术大师，我会跟大家分享的屏幕。
Well, how you start writing and what is a preferable structure are two separate questions. The starting writing is very important, and in the sense that you shouldn't delay for too long. A lot of people get into a trap whereby they put off writing. Even when you're doing a subject such as history, it's a good idea to start writing almost straight away. Certainly when you're doing something like anthropology with fieldwork, it's a good idea to start the writing in the field before you come back. Indeed, even your preparation before you go to do your fieldwork in your first term is the beginning of the writing. The writing shouldn't be broken off. There's a misconception that fieldwork and PhDs are in 3 stages. There's preparing, there is gathering data, and then there's writing up, as if it was like archaeology, writing up a field report on our field site. But actually, in most of the social sciences, the writing and the thinking and the research are all mixed together. So the more you can do writing all the time, a little bit of writing all the time, then the easier it is. Otherwise, what tends to happen is that you gather masses of information, and then you don't know where to start. It seems impossible, and you get blocked. And I've had a few students who have spent the first 3-6 months not writing anything at all because they've got too much information. So that's to do with how you start it. The ideal shape, different universities have different lengths of PhD. Cambridge has quite a short 80,000 word limit in social sciences. Oxford used to have 100,000, and many universities have no limit. Supposing you had 80,000, as I'm used to supervising, then of course it will depend on the subject and so on, but roughly it makes sense to think in terms of either, say, 8 chapters of 10,000 words, or say 10 chapters. You might have 10 shorter chapters, the introduction a little shorter, the conclusion a little shorter. One thing perhaps to avoid is making a chapter too long. Human beings seem to be used to reading about 10,000 words and then having a pause. If you make overlong chapters, unless there are very strong divisions within them, people don't really know when to stop and they get a bit worn out. So all my books tend to have between 8 and 12,000 words. If I go over 12,000 words on a chapter, I begin to try and cut it down and divide it.
OK， 所以这位教授呢，他给我们提了一个非常好的醒，就是说呢，在我们做博士或者硕士项目的时候你不要把它当成它是有几个 stages 的，就是你不要把它当成现在我是准备阶段，现在我是研究阶段，现在我是写作阶段，并不是这样的，而是写作是要 throughout 这个 process 的。这也就是为什么我们从第1周开始上课就给大家留作业。你干了一点什么，你要把它写下来；干了一点什么，就把它写出来，就要养成这个习惯。其实呢，我并没有从一开始就开始写，但是呢，因为我刚来开普敦的时候呢，修了这里开普敦大学一些人类学的课程，因为我说过我之前本科硕士都不是读人类学的，在我修这些课程的时候，也要求我写很多东西，那我就按照这个课程的要求。然后按照我自己研究的方向把课程的作业完成，就写了一些东西。后来我发现到我后面写整个论文的时候，我真的是前面写的东西都非常的有用，都可以拿过来用。所以这个 writing 是要放到整个的过程中，从第1天就开始写。你可能觉得你写的东西 逻辑性、理论性都比较差。那当你觉得你理论并不强的时候，你就写一些很实际的事情，就比如说你见了谁，你有什么感想，这些都会最后对你有用的。那你随着你的理论能力越来越强，你就可以把你前面写的东西再拿过来做深入的分析同时呢，你有一个比较好的写作习惯了，这样也会非常好。那接下来呢，这位教授呢就跟大家分享一下他每天是怎么写的。那这个大家会听到一个比较惊人的数字这个大家数字可以量力而行，投入的时间呢还是需要的。那我给大家介绍一下。
Okay, good. If you write 3 hours per day, like how many words do you usually produce within 3 hours?
Yes, I tend to write about 3 hours a day when I'm properly writing. I write, you have to choose the right time. It's very important to choose the right time, the right place for writing, and the right method. I work best about between 9 o'clock and 10 and 12 o'clock. So those 3 hours, perhaps 8:30 and then a break in the middle. So the mornings are when I write best, and some people write best at night and so on.
Yes.
If I write for 3 hours, I find that I've moved. Again, it's a matter of what you find best, the best way to write. I have got on my website an article which I wrote about how I write, which is called From Typewriter Through Computers to the Pen, because I started typing, and then I moved to computers, and now I write longhand. Whichever way I do it, I can obviously type faster than I can write, but I can write reasonably fast. Anyone with any of these methods in 3 hours can write at least 2,000 words. I can often write 4,000 words, even longhand, in the morning. I tell my PhD students, and they just laugh in disbelief, but I mean basically, if you ration yourself to 5 days a week, because you should take some time off the weekends, and you write 2,000 words a day, that's 10,000 words, that is one chapter. So in 2 months you've written your thesis. Now obviously you don't, but I've written a number of my books in 2 months. Letters to Lily, even long books like Marriage and Love in England, which was 120,000 words, I wrote in 6 weeks. Because once you're writing very fast, you don't want to stop, and you just write it. When I say writing, you write the first draft. Then you may spend another 6 months writing it again and again and again. But basically, you should be able to write 2,000 or 3,000 words a day. But you can't. No one can keep this up for very long. I find I can write 2,000 or 3,000 words a day for 5 days, and that's a chapter. Then I need 2 or 3 days rest, and then I can write another one like that.
好啊，大家听到我们这个教授呢，他是介绍了自己的写作方法。那首先呢，就是他会想，他因为是老一批的这个学者，他先用 typewriter 随便打一些 ideas， 然后呢，他再回去把它在电脑上打，然后他同时呢也会用笔写。我觉得这个大家有什么写作习惯，其实都是可以的。那我个人呢我是比较喜欢先用笔写，所以我随时有一个我有一个 notebook 在旁边，我已经写了，从我读博士开始，我看有了15、16本吧，就像这样的。然后我会把我的一天的观察呀，还有一些想法呀，然后我都一些 ideas 的 key points， 就是一些点都写在上面。然后我会反过来，有的时候有一些可以大家看到一些 highlight 的东西，就是我觉得会有用的东西，我再把它再提炼一下，在电脑上写。我觉得如果你3个小时都一直对着电脑打，可能也很辛苦。你可以找一个比较舒服的环境。这位大师有讲，他一个写作呢，他思考的时候会在哪里思考？他坐在一个很舒服的一个躺椅上，就在那里思考。然后他如果是已经有想法了，开始写了，又有点思绪凌乱的时候，他会去哪儿？他就在他的那个旁边的森林里走一圈，他就一边走一边想，一边走一边想。那我觉得这3个小时并不是意味着你一定是死死的坐在那里写，而是当你思路断了，你会采用什么办法？这个每个人肯定方法不同，大家要知道，大家都会遇到这样的问题，所以你要有一个不要慌张，有一个解决的办法就可以。那这位教授呢，他说他是每天写个3000字，用3个小时写3000字，1个小时就能写1000字。 他的意思呢是他不求精益求精，他只是把它写出来，然后再花6个月去修改。那他就介绍了他跟他的博士生开玩笑说，你每天写3个小时，每天这3个小时的你就写2000字，你1个星期5天，周末休息，你都可以写1万字，1万字就是一个 chapter， 你2个月就写完你的 PhD 了。所以大家不妨这样想，其实我认识的很多高产的教授、作家朋友，他们基本上都是2个月就写一本书。这就是为什么我们接下来会向大家介绍的几位大师也好，学者也好，他们都是非常高产的，包括我们今天会介绍的向彪老师，包括我们下周会介绍的 Francis Nyamnjoh， 在开普敦大学的老师。他第一次跟我说他4点钟起床每天写东西的时候，我都惊呆了。我说怎么有人是这样的？然后现在我也是这个样子的时候呢，我就觉得我体会到真的你的效率会高一点，你把你自己的状态调到这个状态就很好。当然我要提醒大家 ，Francis Nyamnjoh 他是9点钟睡觉的，他4点钟起来写作所以大家不要熬夜，要么你就早起，要么你就晚睡，就不要两边都这样，就脑子坏掉也不行，是吧？那就提醒大家呢，每天要养成一个习惯。我在这里呢，你看我非常非常接地气儿的，把人家这个视频里说的3小时呢要写3000字，改成了3小时你写个几百字，你写几百字都行，是不是？你可能刚开始的时候呢，不是纯写3个小时，你就是读然后呢，你读完了之后你要写一些东西，逐渐的你要把读的时间慢慢缩短，你要把写的时间慢慢增强。这样的话，每天3个小时，咱不求2个月把博士写完，咱有个4年还是可以的，是吧？我都读下来了，你们也可以的。是，包括很多是吧？你想想是不是这个？对，你想想是不是这个道理？你真的就是就是我开头说的，时间是最好的答案，时间是唯一的答案，你就是要投入时间到学习中。